Hi and welcome. My name is Irene Langeveld, and on my website irenelangeveld.com I get a lot of questions about protecting your energy field and especially protecting yourself against emotions from other people that you are feeling or things that people are throwing at you that you want to protect yourself against so that you don't get thrown off balance that so easily. And there are many things that you can do to help with that. But I also wanted to share with you the bigger picture of this. So I'm going to share with you the tools that you can use to protect your energy in the cases that you need it. And I will also tell you about the journey that you can go on when you really want to use your sensitivity in a way that is very empowering and come to the situation where you will be able to still feel everything, or not everything, but feel what other people are feeling around you and not be influenced by it. So you feel it, but it doesn't throw you off balance. And that's my goal, and that's what I find important, because I don't think that we were meant to be protecting ourselves when we're very sensitive and just walk around, pretending that we're small and pretending that we have this wall around us. Or I think that there's a gift in sensitivity, and I think that it's important to keep that open and to learn to deal with that in a different way so that you can feel it and you can use the information, you can use it to help other people. You can have it as, you can feel around what people are feeling or how the energy in a room is. But at the same time, be so powerful and centered in yourself that you can feel it and it doesn't have to influence you. So that's where I want to go with this. So first of all, in the cases that you do need the protection, in the cases that you find yourself communicating with a person who is very challenging for you, who might be angry at you or what I call throwing energy at you. In those cases, and when you're still on your journey to becoming so empowered that you don't need the protection anymore, in those cases you can protect yourself. And there are many different ways to do that. And they all work, but they only work when you're grounded while you're doing it. So let's talk about grounding first. Grounding is very easy. You just intend that you have a connection between your base chakra, which is at the base of your spine, and the earth. And then I stand differently when I talk about this. And then you also make a connection between your feet and the earth. And you can imagine that it is a cord or a tube or the roots of a tree. It doesn't matter. It's all about making that connection between your body and the earth. And let that connection go all the way down very deeply into the earth. That's part one of grounding. Part two is to be present in your body. Because when you have that connection, but you're not present in your body, it's like your energy field stops at your knees or so, and you never even reach your feet. So those grounding cords cannot do their work when you're not present in your body. So that's step two. How do you do that? I do it every morning. I intend the grounding cord. I ask it to be there for me. And then I go through my body with my attention, and I can go from the bottom up or I can go from the top downwards. It doesn't matter. But what I do is I just feel my feet, my ankles, my knees, my thighs, my hips, my abdomen, my chest, my back, my shoulders, my arms and my hands, my neck and my head, everything. And as you can see, now I'm doing it really quickly, but it doesn't need to take a lot of time. I do have a free grounding meditation on the website, which is completely free. I will put a link below. You can just listen to that one online, and that is about 10 minutes. In the beginning, it's good to take a little more time with it, but you will find that it will get easier for you, and it's quicker. And I've been doing this now for 7 years. Yes, I started when I was 22. I'm almost 29 now. So I've been doing it for 7 years, and I never skip a day. And sometimes I skip half a day, and then I find myself going, whoa, what's happening? And then I remember that I forgot to ground myself because I was staying with someone or something was weird in the morning. So it's a daily thing. And grounding is one of the pieces that we learn. It's one of the first things that many people learn when they go to a meditation course or a spiritual development course or whatever. And it is important to acknowledge that grounding is not just for the beginning phases. Grounding is a continuous process. And the more you ground, the more light, the more of your spirit you can hold in your body, because that energy needs to have a place to go. And when you're not grounded, you cannot really open up to more higher energies. So the more you grow, the more you need to ground. And the more you ground, you are more able to grow when you are more grounded. So it's a cycle, it's a continuous process, and it's really beautiful and it's simple. So that's important. And once again, you can go to my website to listen to the meditation and, find if that works for you. And then you can do it just on intention. So grounding is the first thing, and you really need that if you want to protect yourself. And the protection mechanisms are, almost all of them are visualizations. And they're easy, and all of them work when you're grounded. So you can imagine that you have a bubble around you, and in that bubble, only light can enter. Or only loving energies can enter. Whatever you want, or only your energy can enter. You can set that intention and take a few minutes before you need it or in the morning to set that up and to really feel it. You can use a bubble, you can use a pyramid around you, you can use an octahedron, like 2 pyramids. You can use all kinds of things and they all work. And another form of that is really be aware of the edge of your energy field. And you can do that by visualizing that you draw a line in the sand, or that you have a flower at the bottom, or not the bottom, at the boundary of your energy field. And that's at an arm's length distance from your body. And then just be very aware that everything between you and that boundary is you, and everything outside is the outside world. And see if you can stay aware of that boundary when you go grocery shopping, or when you go for a walk, or whatever you're doing. And just see if you can have that awareness in yourself. And that will also help to be present with yourself and present in your body. So those are the protection mechanisms. You also can work with colors. You can fill your bubble around you with a color that you like. Be imaginative. Everything works. It's all about intention. So play with this and see how it works. You can use a mirror even that you put at the edge of your energy field, so that everything that people throw at you is being reflected back to them. No hard feelings, but it's your energy. So you can keep that. That's the feeling of that. And I used that one when I was interviewing someone who was very challenging for me in my bachelor's study time. And this person was really throwing energy at me and basically questioning everything I did. And that threw me off balance completely the first time. And I had to go back because it was several times that we needed to meet for that exercise. So the second time I went back and I was prepared. So, I had my bubble. I had my intention that everything that he was going to send to me would just not enter my field, just return. And the beautiful part was that he was doing the same thing. He was throwing energy. And I could see it. And I was like, oh, he's doing it again. And it didn't hurt me. It didn't enter my field. It didn't throw me off balance. It was his energy This was my energy. And there was a very clear boundary. So I was much more able to have that conversation, and then I could shift the energy a little bit and even have a little bit of fun in that conversation. So that was big. So I know from experience that these techniques work. But as I said before, I don't want to be someone who is protecting herself from the outside world and not connected. So I only use that. I used that in the past when I really needed it. I haven't used it in years. Because now I've become so much more stronger in myself that I can be centered and grounded and present, and I can feel what everybody is feeling. And when people throw energy at me, I notice it, and I might feel it, and I might trigger it, but I can let go of it much more easily. So I don't use the protection anymore. And I want to tell you about how you can get to that state of real empowerment where you will be able to feel everything but not so much be influenced by it. And the first step on that road is grounding. So we talked already about that. And the second piece is to be aware of your body. And that's part of the grounding as well, but it is more than that. What I mean by being present is that you are aware of yourself when you communicate and interact with the outside world. So for example, if you are very sensitive, the tendency is to go outside of yourself. And when you are in a room with people, that you are outside of yourself, just monitoring everybody and seeing if everybody's happy, and there's some conversation going on over there, and they are having an argument right there, and you're aware of everything. But most of the time you're not aware of yourself. So that is what you really need to do in order to stay more centered and balanced. And that is to be aware of you. And how can you do that? The easiest way to do that is to be aware of your body, aware of what you feel. So it's a very good exercise to try and play with this when you have a conversation with somebody. Not someone who's very challenging, just, a fun conversation. And just check in during that conversation how you are feeling, how your body is feeling. And that will help to be more aware of you, because usually you are aware of everything else, but not so much about you. And to be really empowered with this energy, it's important that you are aware of yourself. So that is the big key. You can also practice this when you go for a walk with the dog. Just do things while you are aware of how your body is feeling. And that will help so much in feeling centered and feeling yourself and taking care of yourself and be balanced, much more balanced. The other thing that I wanted to talk about briefly is that sometimes when people start to learn to get into their bodies, especially when they have been floating out there somewhere before, which is what I have done in the past, and then they start to be more fully present in their body, and then they hit all these emotions. Because sometimes emotions are stored in the body, or not even sometimes, I believe that's always the case. So sometimes when you are more present in your body, you will feel emotions or patterns that are coming up that you can heal right now. And you can heal that because you are now more present. And how you can do that is the way I teach it to my students in my heart-centered living course and in my sessions and everything, is to allow the emotions and to take time for yourself, sit down, feel what you are feeling, and be aware of where that emotion is stored in your body. Where is the tension in your body? And then what you can do is breathe into that tension. Let your breath go to that space in your body. You can lay a hand on it if you like. Sometimes it's the stomach or the belly or the throat or whatever it is. Just lay your hand there and breathe with it. And sometimes what happens is that often it's a wave. So when you start to tune into it, it might get intense. It might get a little more intense. And then it goes down. And then once it's finished, it's gone. And that's the beautiful part about it, because when you have an emotion lingering in the back, somewhere during the day, you can do anything, but it's there like something that wants attention, and it's not, you're not really comfortable. When you stop and work with that emotion in the way I just described to you, then that feeling can really leave your body and leave your field, and it's gone. And then you can have a happy day the rest of your day. So that's what I'm trying to do. When I feel that somewhere in the back of my head, or however you want to call it, is an emotion, I try to sit down and work with it so that it can release and it can heal, and I can continue my day without that, trying to get my attention, basically. So that's the emotional healing part of it. And the beautiful part is that when you do your emotional healing in this way, then it's more comfortable to be in your body, because it doesn't hold all these emotions anymore. And you allow that flow of life. Life is about the good, the bad, and the ugly. But when you allow it to flow, it's much easier. And it's much easier to go from a not so comfortable state or a difficult emotion to a better state. So to allow that flow is really, really powerful. So take a deep breath with that and just feel everything that I've been saying now. Sometimes when you hear words, your energy responds to it. So that's why I wanted to take a little time and just breathe with that. I want to share one more thing about the emotional healing. Sometimes when a pattern is triggered in me, it's something that has been coming up, in many different forms and from time to time. For example, the pattern of wanting everybody to be happy, or wanting people to accept me and love me, and all that stuff. I think we all have that pattern. But another way to work with it, besides the work with the body, is to imagine that pattern as a little part of you. And I imagine her as a little Irene, a little girl. And then I ask myself, what does this girl need? And usually it's love. It's acceptance. It's, giving her everything that she is trying to get from the outside world. So most of the time, also for the other patterns, it helps to just give love and acceptance to this pattern, give love and acceptance to this part of myself. And then you integrate that energy, and you become so much stronger when you do that. And it's part of embracing your imperfections and embracing all your humanness. And you do it by just loving yourself. And it's easier when you pretend that it's a little girl, because it's easier to love than your adult self, probably, for most of us. So that really helps. So I wanted to share that with you as well. And I wanted to talk about all these emotions because it's part of the getting more present in your body. Usually works very well together with the emotional healing, and it reinforces one another. So it's part of the process. So we got the steps, we got the grounding, we got being more present in your body and doing the emotional healing that you need. And you will find that those pieces are very important in being aware of yourself. And when you are aware of yourself and your body, it's much easier to discern what is yours and what is not. And it's much easier to let go of that which is not yours. So what I do is when I have energy from others in my field, what I do is just either send it back to them with love, no attachment, no bad feelings, or I just let it go into the earth through my grounding cord. And to just clear my energy field. You can also imagine that you are standing under a waterfall of light, and that it is just taking away, flowing away all the stuff that is not yours, that you have picked up during the day. And I tend to do that every evening because it's when you're communicating with people, you pick up so many things unconsciously that it's really nice to just clear your energy field at the end of the day. But, you know, when you're present in your body, it's much easier to discover, hey, I picked up that energy, that's not mine. So that makes things a whole lot easier. So it's a triangle. It's being grounded, it's being present, and it's being centered in yourself. And with being centered in yourself, I mean that you're really focused on yourself, that your energy is focused. It's not out there. It's not monitoring everybody. Your energy is here. You're still feeling things if you want to, but your energy is focused and centered in yourself. So that was what I wanted to give you for today. I hope this was helpful. And if you want more of my work, or if you want to do a private session with me, you can. Just go to my website, irenelangeveld.com. I will put a link below this video. And I also have a free meditation and video series about heart-centered living. I have a blog with articles and videos and all kinds of stuff where you can find more about, you know, what I do and what I share with the world. So, and also my grounding meditation is on the website. So take a look, and I hope to see you in another video on the website, wherever. Thank you very much.